Hi, this is Paul Williams with the fourth in my series of video logs following my progress through total skin electron beam therapy. Today I've completed my 16th of 20 sessions and this week has been a bit more interesting than the others, insofar as I had my eyes, my eyelids irradiated for the first time, and also I had my planning for the irradiation of my perineum. They described the planning as being an assessment to see whether I needed it, but frankly I think that in reality there is no decision, there is no choice. That part does not get covered by the electrons, and all parts of my skin have to be irradiated, otherwise the word total would be irrelevant. So I had a session whereby I had my nether regions inspected and photographed and drawn upon in preparation for the calculations to work out how many mega electron volts need to be blasted up there. I also had a day zero, as they call it, on the table, whereby they adjust the gantry and get me in position and put the applicator, as they call it, which is basically a metal frame with shields in, up against my perineum to see how far they can, or rather how close they can get to the perineum, and without my legs hitting the gantry and generally getting in the way. So that was fun, with three ladies and a man staring at places where only my wife should really be seeing it. Anyway, I was actually dreading this week, but it turned out to be not as bad as I thought, because this week I also had my eyelids done for the first time. I knew that this involved putting a lead shield over my eyeball, and I knew that my eyeball would be anaesthetized, but I thought that the act of putting the lead shield over the eyeball would be quite distressing. In actual fact, it wasn't so bad. They put a couple of drops of anaesthetic into my eye using eye drops. The first one stung a little bit, but yeah, probably no more than any other stuff that you squirt in your eyeball. And it only took really a matter of, well, a minute at most to take effect. Rather curiously, they test to see that it has taken effect by putting a little piece of lint gauze actually onto your eyeball, and so that's a little bit weird. Obviously, if you feel it, then the anaesthetic hasn't worked. In my case, I didn't, and they proceeded, and they even though the guy putting the shields in, I believe, was doing it for the first time, it was really nothing much to write home about. They then put a piece of lead around the outside, which has got a hole in the size of your eyeball, or at least the bit that they want to irradiate. They bring the machine down on top of your face, and they go out for 2 minutes, squirt whatever it is they squirt at you, come in, take the piece of lead out, and give you some lubricating eye drops and an eye patch to stop any nasty bits getting in there, whilst your eye is still anaesthetized and you don't know about it. So actually that bit was okay. And I have 4 further sessions, 2 each on each eye next week, giving each eye 3 sessions. Next week I also have my feet being done. I've got 3 sessions of squirting whatever at my feet. I think it's electrons. Again, I've no real idea. I imagine I lie flat on the bed and they put the gantry up against my feet. Go out of the room, turn it on, turn it off, and come back in and get me to stand up and go somewhere else. So that is, if you like, the practicalities of my treatment. As for the side effects, well, so far, I think you might possibly see that I'm getting a bit of a tan. I tan very easily anyway, so I'm quite pleased that I'm getting a bit of a tan. Interestingly, there are parts of my body, a part of my body, that has always been lily white, and that's where my swimming trunks go. And now that part is tanned, so I actually now have a tanned bottom for the first time in my life, which is, well, probably since I was a baby, because I do know that I did spend an inordinate amount of time running around naked, but then I suppose, yeah, you never grow up really, do you? So tan, nice. After the treatment, I'm now coming out slightly red, as though I've been out in the sun for a little bit too long, but I've not had any sunburn, so to speak, and the red goes and the tan comes in and we're all happy. I've got one or two spots where there is a little bit of flaking going on, but nothing to shout about. My nipples have get a little bit sore, and my the old man has got a rather sore hat, which is odd. I hadn't expected that. Perhaps the most noticeable is that I am losing my hair. I don't know how good the photograph was when I set out, but it is noticeably thinner, and I am noticing hair on my garments. So I think I am losing my hair, and probably by the time this is finished, and perhaps a couple of weeks beyond, I would not be surprised if it's not all gone, or at least mostly gone. My beard also, I'm getting a little bit of sensitivity underneath it, but again, I suspect that will be gone. So next week, last week, bit of a busy week, and so far so good, really. I'll give you a shout at the end of next week and tell you where we've got to. Thank you.